And you're on.
Hey everybody, welcome to PDQ Live. It was Patch Tuesday. Like every month this happens. And normally Patch Tuesday because I'm busy making just such fantastic content. We have less prep time, so we do PDQ&A, where I look pretty and Josh will answer your questions.
What about me?
We're a team today.
What are you doing? We're a team.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, through Josh, you also do very well.
That's insulting, isn't it?
It is. You're gonna win today.
Let's crush him, okay?
Yeah.
What's our team name again?
Do we decide Jash?
Jash. Team Jash is going to destroy you, Jordan.
Okay. Do we want to recap Patch Tuesday? Yeah, let's just go on. Let's answer some questions. Patch Tuesday made me sad. I want to move on.
All right, let's start us off. And there is a screen that is black.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know how to answer that one.
Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to read that question, then I'm going to have to restart this computer.
Oh, what does Josh think about that?
What's the worst that
Josh,
could
what are we
happen?
doing with that?
Okay.
All right, so while we're waiting, let's talk about Patch Tuesday.
I don't know.
Yes.
Actually, Josh, it's up to you. If I restart this computer, am I going to have internet?
I don't know.
Okay.
Welcome to
You might
the
be able to
show.
see me, though, so that's about it.
That's true. We would be able to see Glenn. I'll tell you what. Let me read this question to you guys. You can start answering this, and then I guess we'll try and restart mine.
All right.
Because
Okay.
mine was the one computer that we thought everything was good, and we didn't want to tempt fate.
Yeah, but
turns
it's not
out-
good.
yeah.
None of them were good. Turns
So
out.
you're
bad.
probably giving us. We're probably giving Austin enough time now to just remove all authentication on that switch.
Oh,
by just
please.
continuing this, so you'll probably be fine.
Okay. All right. So here's your first question.
All right.
Being in healthcare, our team doesn't have resources dedicated to our PDQ inventory enterprise housekeeping. Can someone from PDQ help us with recommendations on how to improve? And I will likely be back. Actually, you know what? I just realized if I, we may lose their audio if I restart this.
You're gonna lose. You're gonna lose me, and you can
We're
lose
gonna
Glenn,
lose you
but that's
guys.
fine.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, and I'll see y'all in a minute.
Oh, okay. All
All
right.
right. So that one, there's a lot of things with housekeeping that you can do. I assume the big one is like the machine cleanup, where they want if machines out of your network you want to pull out of inventory and new ones add,
Yeah.
which you could do with the AD sync. Control comm and open the preferences, maybe.
No, you're not.
Eventually we'll get there.
Yep.
Oh, we're already there. So come to the Active Directory tab. So you can set an auto sync here. You want to set it to full, which will allow it to delete ones that aren't there anymore. If you are looking for a full, absolutely as with AD. Yep. And then just choose the OUs you want. And even that way, if you set, if you have to keep the objects in AD for X number of months because of policy, you could just have that OU excluded down here. And when updates, even though the machine's still in AD, it won't add or remove from inventory. That will help with the cleanup there. Other than that, most of your cleanup is going to have to come from, if you have any custom collections, you just want to make sure that those are really on point.
Yeah. The other thing I can suggest is using blank collections as folders.
Okay.
Right? So you create a new collection in inventory. Don't add any filter criteria, but name it something like a folder structure, and then you can nest stuff under it to get yourself some organizational trees going on.
And I believe if you wanted to, you could also change the icons for
You
those.
sure can with item appearance, Control Shift F2.
Control Shift.
Yep.
Yeah, so you have those if you need a little bit more to separate the.
That's one of my favorite tricks for housekeeping appearance. Now, for housekeeping on the performance side, one of the things that I would suggest is looking at how much PDQ deploy data you're keeping in PDQ inventory.
All right, so if we open up, we'll say CoolCat because that's the one that's there.
Yep. If you go to deployments, you can see all of the deployments that have happened to CoolCat.
None deployments.
CoolCat's new.
Yeah.
If CoolCat would have been around for a while, this would be probably a really long list. You can define how much of this to keep in preferences, and it's a global setting. In environments where deploying inventory have been around for 3, 4, 5 years, that's a lot of data. And who really cares that you deployed Firefox 22 back in 2018?
Yeah.
Like, time to just go ahead and get rid of that.
But it's global.
It's global, and it will remove that per machine.
Yep. So with that, with all things, you probably have to do some initial setup to make sure everything's the way you want. But once you get it dialed in, most of the settings should keep the house keeping up for you.
Yep. Oh, Kelly, you still there?
You're done because I have no internet.
Okay, where do you can you guys show me where you set that? Because I want to know. Where do you set that global setting, Josh? And Jordan?
Oh, let's just keep going along here. I think it's in preferences.
Is it inventory or deploy preferences?
It's PDQ deploy, and by default, it's actually turned off.
Now I got it.
Why I would want that on though, right?
You would,
I
right?
would.
So, and you can set this
Okay.
here. So, like, depends on how far back you want to know about deployments.
Okay.
Typically, 6 months. Do you really care what you deployed 6 months ago?
I don't.
I don't
No.
care 5 minutes after.
No. Well,
For
I'd
me,
care
like
5 minutes,
probably
yeah.
2 months. Like maybe I want to see the last 2 patch Tuesdays,
Yeah.
right? So maybe turn this to something like 90 days. Save it.
Yeah. Well, I'm also curious why, Jordan, why you didn't save your sync in AD. Do you turn that off by default?
We don't have it on in the lab because there's a lot of changes that go in there, and just we learned the hard way that it's just not wise for us to have sync for the lab. But in my personal environment, I would, yes, just not for the webcast.
I'm turning it on immediately for
Yeah, oh.
Hawkins. I'm turning it on immediately.
Oh,
Speaking of,
he's back.
right? We've also got like scanning history, right, from the scanning tab. And there's an auto cleanup that's set to 14 days. You can adjust with this as well. And what this is going to clean up is on an individual computers. Of course, I pick a DC. Why wouldn't I, right?
Want to deploy some software to the domain controller?
Let's do it. Let's
Why
break
not?
everything. Why not?
But any of the scans that have happened that are just like, hey, this scan ran at this time, it's going to clean this data up.
Okay.
So it's not going to delete the actual scan data, but just the log of it. But again, over many years, times, you know, as many computers as you have, that could be a ton of data that you just want to dump out of the console.
Okay. I don't want to break your brain, but I'm just curious because I'm this person. Where does this live? App data?
These, I believe, are actual database entries.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just in the database, wherever that is.
Okay.
I think the default is
Program
program
data.
data.
Admin arson. Okay.
But if you have that set as a non-default,
Then wherever you
yeah.
rolled it off to.
But if I want to get extra crazy, I could drill down there and just clean it all out in mass if I was extra crazy that day. But that'd be a bad idea.
I mean, I too like to live dangerously, but not like that without knowing
They
the
say
schema.
manually deleting entries out of a SQL database never causes problems.
No,
so.
I mean, nothing bad can happen. Let's do it. Okay.
All right, have we stalled enough, Kelly? Are you ready?
Yeah, I think you've
Okay.
stalled enough. Unless you want to stall more, I mean, we can always do that. No?
No, this is good.
No, I'm out.
You're good. All right. I'll give you a new question, and then I'll work on getting Glenn and JJ back. All right. Next question. Can we pair PDQ inventory with a full SQL instance? We have several database staff that we could utilize to be able to expand our use of inventory and internal auditing. Sincerely, Eric.
So inventory is on SQLite. I think we looked into making that change at one point,
Yep.
and it was a significant undertaking to the product that we just didn't have the. But I believe Connect will be
Well, hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. So, you're right. Inventory, SQLite. Still a relational database. You've got SQL people on staff. Grab a utility called DB Browser. Open up your inventory database. Show it to your database people. Be like, here's what it is. Now, remember that it's not a time series database. It's last write wins in SQLite. So, work with them. Figure out a way to just dump that entire database into full-on SQL. Then they can run the reporting off of full SQL if you want. Now, that's a totally custom thing to do. Not supported, but that's how you could get all of that data to where you might want it to go. The support guys are probably throwing daggers at me right
The
now.
not support thing scared me, what you just said.
Yeah.
so how often do you recommend dumping the database to make sure it's accurate?
So how about how often do you scan?
I have no idea. Whatever the default is.
Right. So maybe every 7 days.
Yep.
So maybe you figure out what your default schedule is, and you add an hour, 2 hours after, make a backup of the SQLite database, and shuttle it off to your SQL guys and say, "Here you go, guys, have fun."
All right.
It's a
gonna
lot of.
kill
We're going to put that in
you.
the category if it would definitely work.
It shouldn't.
I mean, how much time do you have? Right? Anything's possible. How much time do you have?
All
All
right.
right, Kelly.
Next question. Let's do this. How does Simple MDM compare to Mahas 360? We currently use Mahas 360 to manage iPhones and iPads. Is there a cost to Simple MDM?
I haven't used Mass 360, but Simple MDM is absolutely amazing. Simple MDM is $3 per device, and I'm telling you, it is worth every single penny. Managing iPhones in the enterprise is my least favorite thing in the world. Honestly, I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Simple MDM it really is so simple. It's the easiest product.
It's powerful too.
It's so powerful. I wish I had all those years of my life back, honest to God.
So as far as how it compares based on overall, I would say they have a way you can set up a demo where they could have something that can kind of show you everything goes in there and you can look at a comparison that way. But as far as each product, we don't know enough about Mass 360 to give a comparison.
No, I mean, I know is Mass 3, is it a 365 product?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's another product. I've heard of it, never used it. I couldn't compare them. What I can say is Simple MDM, clear best in class, I think.
Well, I've used, sorry, Jordan.
I believe Mass 360 can work on Android and Apple, which that might be the big difference.
I've used Jamf and I've used Simple MDM. Simple MDM is way easier than Jamf, far and above easier. So, it's owned by IBM.
There's your answer.
Well,
It's an
yeah.
IBM product.
I think Simple MDM, literally, you could, within the day, have mastered it and make it worth the money. That's for real. I love it. I do.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, next question. Is it possible to email results from a report prior to the report being saved? Not all the data I aggregate needs to be saved in such an official manner. It's more for me to follow up later on, and being able to email results without saving the report just to delete it later seems, I don't know, messy. Thanks, Eric S.
So with reporting, does it have to save it at all? I'm going to go through and find an existing report.
Yeah.
So I'm probably way off base here, but I thought there was a way where you could, if you don't define the save location, it didn't save, and then it would just email. But I'm not real familiar. Maybe open up an existing report was a bad call.
Yeah, that was probably not the best report to open there. If we define a new report, I'm fairly certain that you do have to save it to be able to execute and export it out to email. So it is a little bit messy there.
Absolutely, that is messy. That seems inefficient.
Oops. Good call.
We agree.
Hey, Randall, if you're on, Jordan and I agree. Messy. I wish I had a better answer for that one.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well, we can hope.
Yeah.
We'll dig in. All right, next question. Do you have a sample script to sync the custom variables from PDQ deploy to PDQ inventory? Oh, and by the way, if you have smart deploy questions, we do have Glenn back. And so we're ready to go with smart deploy as well.
I'll see if I can find it real quick. I believe I have it up on the Git, the
We're gonna
bonus
do it
content.
live?
I'm gonna see if I can find it.
All right. I mean, I can think conceptually how to do it, but if you have a script to do it already, that's awesome.
So I did it before when we automated packages not in the collection, not in the package library.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm pretty sure it's in there,
Okay.
but I just need to see if I can find it. Hey, auto collection, automate packages. It's going to be one of these. There we go. Update variables. So in bonus content, automate packages, update variables, and then in here, it's basically this one, update custom variables name. So I copy it out from one and save it up in the other one. So this script contains everything you need to copy the variables over, and you can set that on a schedule so it will regularly update from one to the other. You just want to remember which one you have as the resource record. Otherwise, you'll change it and it will overwrite.
Who wins?
But whichever one you set as the one that's copying from will be the correct one.
Tread carefully.
Yep. So that was PDQ GitHub bonus content, automate packages, and then just the update vars.
Nice. Fantastic.
You found that so quickly, Jordan. Did you
bonus
plan
content? I put all my stuff in bonus content.
That's awesome.
Tara, we got to step it up. You might win.
Jordan is
I
on
don't know.
fire.
Come on, Team Jazz. Let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Okay.
Okay, here we go. I have created a collection with the application, and I have 2 sub-collections drilled down. I've tried to make a collection for latest and old version, lower, then it doesn't work, basically. Why? Fortress.
You want to take over the computer and I'll let you have this one.
No. I think I know what's going on, but I'll let you show.
So there are a couple options on this one. If you're copying from the collection library, if you take a look at any of our collections, just go to use Blender as the example. If you take a look at it, we rebuilt all of the options in there with a new thing for old or new in there for each one. So if you are not putting the same collection variables from the parent into the sub ones, the child ones, then you want to come into the parent or the below ones and say drill down from parent.
The thing about drill down, though, remember, each sub collection must stand and evaluate on its own.
Yep.
If they don't, then you're going to get weird results.
Yeah. So in the case of Blender, if you have it, so you have everything. This is all of my Blender things. If in the child one you have the drill down from parent, it's just going to. You still have to have variables in there. It's like say version less than or whatever for specifying old.
Yep.
But it's only going to resolve against the things that are in the parent collection. Where that's the reason why we have each one has its own complete settings. So if something goes wrong in the parent, the child ones can still work.
Yeah, I think they just clarified they're using Adobe Reader. And if I remember right, those collections are a little more complicated than that of just Blender or like a standalone. And drill down, in my opinion, is not a great choice for there because you are evaluating against a group of computers, right? Version lower than, like I have a group of computers, but it's not returning the logic of the above collection, just the computer sets.
So we do have a pre-built collection for Adobe Reader as well.
Yep.
So if it's one of these ones, you can just copy the collection one down there, and it should be the same thing we have up there. But if you're trying to make it custom for a particular reason,
Yep.
you can still use for our child one here. This is what we have. You can still use this as kind of a reference point.
Yeah, but you've got application name is that, and then version with that in the logic.
Yes.
So if this person is using drill down and they just have application version lower than, that's not going to evaluate because that could be any number of the resultant set of computers. The logic doesn't drill down, just the computer
Just the
to be evaluated
in the collection. Yes.
come down. Yes.
So generally, the drill down from parent is if your parent is a static collection.
Yeah.
Then you could probably do it. Otherwise, you're running the risk of some complication.
Nice.
Okay. Next question.
Hey guys, are we any closer to being able to only email reports that have content, i.e. if the report is empty when nothing gets sent?
I think this might be the most requested feature, and I believe the team over the product is well aware how often is requested. So I don't have a time frame. I do know that it is definitely on the radar. I can't give an estimate on time. I don't know.
Oops. Sorry.
And moving on.
All right, I have a software package that installs without any issues. When it first runs, it does a second install that requires elevated privileges. What's the best way to install this with PDQ? David P.
Ooh, I've had this happen before. What is it installing second? Right? So you install an application, it calls a subroutine another installer. You have to go break that apart. There's not a way to pass like an elevated token to an application with deploy. So for example, I install an application that requires C++ redistributable, I think is what I had in my case. So I'd install the default line of business app and then it would start up and be, oh, now I need to install C++. What you can do is get ahead of it and install the prerequisites before that launch. Because the look for doesn't require admin rights, but the installation would.
All right, so you just need to find out what the other one is, put that as a step ahead of it. And then, because I guess the most likely the installer is going to have the logic to say, does the prerequisite already exist? Okay.
Yeah, one of the most notorious packages I've worked on that does this is Citrix Receiver. It basically calls a subroutine that installs like 8 different applications. And the only way to extract those files was watching what happened in temp. And it would put MSIs in temp as it went through. And so I'd yank those out and then build the package based off of what got put in temp in what order.
Well, at least they're MSI, so you didn't have to guess on the silent parameters.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, I think we have one for Glenn. So are you ready, Glenn?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's new in the latest Smart Deploy release? H.
Oh,
H.
all kinds of fun things. I feel called out right now because I believe the release notes article has not been updated, but we just released a new version yesterday, and there are two major improvements in it. One is that we now allow the use of folder share instead of the use of an administrative share for all console-initiated operations. So time was, if you wanted to push out anything from the Smart Deploy console, you had to use a service account that had access to the administrative share. That's going to be console host name $C Smart Deploy. And in many environments, administrative shares are restricted. On a non-domain joined machine, they're restricted by default. You actually had to go in and mess with the registry key to make it work. You had to have file and printer sharing enabled. So we had a lot of folks who, for security reasons, wanted to do away with administrative shares and use something that had minimal permissions that was a standard share instead. So that is what we implemented here. If you select folder share, which is in fact the default option for new installations, Smart Deploy will go ahead and create a share of the Smart Deploy directory. It's a standard share. It creates a user account, which only has read access to that directory. If you are doing user data migration, so you need write access to that directory, we actually have a separate directory with modified permissions included for that. And it does all of this without you having to touch it at all. You can change the share and account information yourself, but there's really no good reason to. Smart Deploy will take care of that for you. We have a couple of other new features in patch management. We've added the ability to detect and enable the setting for Microsoft updates. Time was we were able to, with the first release of that feature, we were able to detect Windows update status only. Microsoft updates is the feature that allows you to update other Microsoft products as well. And we now have the option to enable that feature remotely. As well as some improved logic around feature updates. If a feature update is included as a part of Windows updates that are pending on that machine, the default behavior is it will install everything except a feature update. That's going to be from, say, Windows 10 version 21H1 to 21H2. You then have the option to push those out or not. So a few other minor improvements, bug fixes, things like that. But yeah, it'll all be in the release notes, which I'll be updating as soon as we're done with this webcast here.
Glenn, did you have the release notes in front of you, or is that all off the top of your head?
I had my notes from the engineering demo that they did for the support team in front of me.
I was about to be genuinely impressed.
I also wrote the KBs for all the new features, so it was somewhat off the top of my head.
He just knows it. He just knows it. Yeah. Also, we made a video that's going to hopefully be up today. If you want to watch the video too. I mean, you do, right?
Yeah, it's the release notes.
Obviously, yeah. No, it's me.
Oh, it's you?
Yeah.
I don't know then.
Josh, come on.
I thought you guys were on a team.
I was going to say,
Yeah, I
descent
thought we
within
were
a
a
team.
team.
We are. It builds camaraderie.
That's right.
Just a little bit of light razzing. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
next up. Here we go. How can I create a scan profile to collect info for a file? See users blah blah nerd. Jason.
Oh man, there's two here and they're both messy, but we can show it.
So
Let's see. Okay, so all user profile and HKey users, all user profiles.
So
oh man, that's a ton of data.
you can do two different scan, like in one scan profile, you can create a registry scanner and a file scanner that look in both of those locations. I think percent username might be a different variable for us in that one.
Yeah, I think it's let's show it. I think we can show it.
You got it.
All right, I'll drive here. So we'll go to a new scanner. We'll do files and directories. Let's see if I remember the syntax off of this by the top of my head, right? So we want all of the user stuff. So C:, users. And I want all current directories and subdirectories, right? So that's / ///. So this is going to get everything that is in C users and the next level down. Depending on how far down you need to go, you can do this.
Whoa.
Tons and tons and tons of data. You want to get as granular as you can here. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a mess.
If it's in a specific location, the scanner will be much faster the more specific you can get.
So this is bad. Don't want to do this. You're going to return all kinds of data. So maybe it's just all users, but all users desktop. And then file name .sys or whatever it is, right?
Yep.
That's okay. Don't do all of the asterisks. You're going to return thousands and thousands and thousands of rows in your database, and it's going to be a mess to use. That's how you can grab a file scanner.
Yep.
Right. So now if we want to do a new scanner for the registry, right? And you said in users, same syntax applies here.
Yep.
Same rules apply here, right? So if it's //// tons of data, not useful, get down to the software that you're looking for and the key and the value.
And then you want to take both those scanners and put them in one scan profile, and it will collect
Yep.
both of those.
And I think that it was some archaic software, so I would name this scan profile archaic software mess.
Yes. So yeah, it's just you can build individual scanners that are grabbing each component and then add all those into a single scan profile, and it will grab all that.
Yep. Mess around with the syntax. I don't know the exact folder structure you're looking for. You do. Have fun.
I have a real concern. Someone drank all my scotch.
Oops.
You definitely need more.
Do we need to like hire a bartender for this thing now too?
Let's chase.
Can we do it?
Or I could drink less.
No.
No, I like the bartender idea.
Okay, ready for your next question?
I think so.
Do it.
Okay. Is there a way to have PDQ clear the DNS cache before starting a job? Joshua S.
So you can build a custom tool that is, I want to say, like a local one, where you can just build the clear DNS cache as a command prompt there and have it be a shortcut key, but that's not going to be a part of a scanner. That's something you just have to run the tool before you scan.
I have an idea. It's a mess.
All right, let's hear it.
All right. I'll show you. Come to schedules, right? So here we are in our schedules. And I want to have this run. Well, let's look at what schedules we have set up, right? So if we're at our all schedules, we might not have anything. We don't have anything. Let's say you have 10 different schedules in here and they're running at 10 p.m. Right? So maybe I create a schedule that targets localhost, right? And I run it daily at 9 p.m.
So you're just going to run localhost with the IP config?
And I'll run the command. I'll build a package that does what I want it to do. Target myself before the other schedules run.
At that point, that's something where if it is a problem with like the DNS cache, like task scheduler, where you're not reliant on, because like if our service shuts down or you cut the product down, it's going to stop. Then again, if the product's off, you're not worried about the scan anyway. But
Yeah, you're kind of solving this problem at the wrong end. Figure out why you're having to dump that cache all the time and fix it there first. But this is a quick hack.
All right.
We like quick hacks.
Okay, next question.
Is there a way to get Java heap memory limit configuration for each system? Justin.
I'm going to have to ask the Google machine,
Yeah.
where is that stored?
yeah, I don't know.
Is it an application setting? Is it a file? Is it a registry key? Here's what you can run out of inventory, right? Here are your scanners that are available here. Is it a file that you can scan for? Not the content, but either the name or itself. PowerShell. So if you can get in PowerShell, you're golden set.
You probably can get it.
Probably can get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
If it is content, if it's content, it's probably going to be through PowerShell.
Yeah. If it's content in a file, you could get the content of the file. So figure out how to do it in PowerShell, get what you're looking for, and then build a PowerShell scanner to return that data.
And put it in its own little table for you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those, we know you can theoretically do it. I don't think either one of us knows how to do that in particular.
Yeah, I have no idea how to get that specific Java information.
All right, are you guys ready for a speed round?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay, let's see if we can bust this out. What would cause return code cannot be null in scan status for a computer in inventory? Christina G.
I'm going to guess the scanner is a PowerShell scanner, and it just came back with basically 0 results, like an actual null value. It's the only I can think of, but without seeing the scanner, I can't really dive in.
Yeah. If you click that exception, it'll look something like, oh man, let's get out of here. Here, the little blue thing, and you go more actions, and this button. All of this will give you all kinds of diagnostic information. So you can look at that.
If it is a PowerShell one, you could put like a if statement or a try catch block where you could basically say if the result, because I'm assuming it's a variable at the end, if this result is null, you can define that as no results returned, and then it will return no results returned instead of just null.
Oh,
But
yeah.
you need to catch your end result, test it to see if it is null. You want the null statement on the left of that comparison operator. And then that should bypass it, and you can send back any message you want at that point. But outside of that, without seeing the scanner, I can't build on it.
Okay.
That was a little slow for a speed round. But
Sorry.
All right, here we go. Does the report emailing function currently support OAuth 2.0 for authenticating to O365? Can't find documentation, but maybe I'm missing something? Broken B.
I don't know off the top of my head.
So I think we have the email options there. I don't believe we have the ability to work with Office 365 at the moment. We just have the SMTP. So I think these products as is cannot work with Office 365. It does?
Yeah, no, it does.
Is
I
it-
don't specifically know the protocols involved.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough with the OAuth to dive in on that one. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
If they open up a ticket with support, we could do a deeper dive and give them some information.
Yep.
And your next question, is there a script to disable or remove MStreams? It gets in the way of student testing. Russell, okay.
So
Kelly
Microsoft
likes
Teams
this one.
is aggressive.
Yeah.
You can remove it and it'll come back. It is possible to remove it. I don't know if that one, for a while there was like an Apex package, but even if you removed the provision package, it would still come back and reinstall. Microsoft is motivated to shove that down your throat till you choke to death on it.
I can tell you one thing
Yeah.
you want to watch out for, in addition to each of these specific instances of Teams that are user specific, is the Teams machine-wide installer might be installed on those machines as well. If it is there with every new login, which is particularly relevant in a school environment where you might have students hopping between different lab machines, every single time one of them logs in, it will go ahead and install it for that user. So if you remove the Teams machine-wide installer, then that should stop happening. Again, subject to Microsoft shoving it back in there in some other way.
That's the team one resolve. I think this is one we've tackled several times, and we've built aggressive packages. And the end result, the only way to currently to have it gone all the time is we basically built it as a logon script. And whoever logged in, it would uninstall Teams every time because
You will not.
I know they say the user space is sacred, but apparently they don't mean when it comes to the product they want to peddle.
Yeah, it's sacred to Microsoft.
Relevant
not
quote.
you.
A relevant quote about it. Use Teams or die. Bill Gates.
Yeah, so it's possible, but once you remove it, it's going to come back. And you can go through, it uninstalls quickly, so you can have it be very aggressive. Every time the machine reboots, anytime anyone logs in, you can set it. But it's going to be a task to make sure it goes away forever.
Yep.
Because next time they do a patch Tuesday, you patch your system, they'll bring it back.
Yep.
All right, looks like we have 4-ish questions left. Does Simple MDM have anything comparable to Jamf Smart Groups? Zachary R. And that's a question that's come up a couple times in chat.
So my Jamf experience is pretty dated. I don't know what a smart group is in Jamf anymore, but I'm going to guess that you can assign membership without it being manual membership. And yes, Simple MDM does, and it's spectacular. And you can even assign it in Apple Business Manager. You can say, I just bought this device and I want it to go to Team Jash. And here are the applications I want to have show up, and here are the configurations I want to set. So yes, it does.
Nice.
And I love it. Did I mention
were
that I
the
love it, Josh?
Biggest advocate for that product.
I love it. I do.
You started here with no idea what it was, and like day 2 of you working here is like, I love this product. I've never seen.
Because I had to manage all the stupid phones and all my IT manager jobs, and I hated it. And it makes your life so easy. For real.
Cool. Next question. If I have a deploy package and step 1 is scan, step 2 is install if member of collection, do I need a sleep 10-step in between to allow membership to update? Or does PDQ deploy know to wait for membership update between steps?
So it does not wait on default. So I think a sleep step is not a bad idea. I know Jason, who does a lot of our demos, strongly recommends having the sleep step because it does update the collection, but the collection doesn't necessarily report as updated instantly.
Deploy just tells inventory, go do the scan, and then moves on.
Yeah.
So you want to give enough time for the scan to complete, return data before the evaluation.
Yep. So the sleep step is probably pretty important for that one.
Nice speed.
Okay, final question. Here we go. We are looking to migrate from an on-prem Spiceworks to fully using PDQ inventory. Can we import? If not, can we manually add to PDQ inventory something like user has laptop bag and headphones? Speed bump.
So I believe we have a Spiceworks, or am I crazy on that? A sync with Spiceworks.
It was for targeting.
Is targeting as
And deploy.
okay.
It's been a long time since I looked at that. So you can save all that as custom fields in inventory. And inventory will ingest a CSV based off of a computer name. So out of Spiceworks, dump everything out tied to the computer name in a CSV, and then import it into inventory with that same CSV after you've added the computers.
There's when options custom fields. So there is the import wizard. So you can find, if you put it as a CSV, you can find it there. You might need to custom map. If the naming scheme is different, you might need to custom map each field of the CSV.
Yep.
But as long as the computer name is the same, you should be able to put
There's
all
a
it in.
fantastic KB with a walkthrough, and actually, I think this might be one of the examples in that KB.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's all we've got today.
Camera 2.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. It felt wonderful to crush both of them.
Didn't you crush us?
I don't know. I didn't keep track.
I don't think anyone did, but I'm just going to claim it. Since I'm the one doing the sign off, I'm going to claim victory. Thanks for tuning in. We love PDQ&A because we get to answer questions we don't always expect. For PDQ.com, I'm Jordan.
I'm Tara.
Josh.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Oh, and that was Glenn, by the way. He's with us as well. Congratulations.
Hi, y'all.
Congratulations, Broken B and Christina G, winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com, and I'll make sure to check my spam folder. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you back here next time.